It says it right there. I'm live. So, hello, Mr. Red here on a Saturday afternoon, December 9th. And I was just, thinking, man, not much going on today. So, I'm going to go ahead. I think it's got to be a whole month since I've gone live, maybe even more. I don't know. And so I said, well, let's just do it. I have a little time this afternoon, and I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and do it. So this morning, early this morning, I was over at the gift shop here at the Abbey, and they had an open house, and they had asked if I would come over and kind of just like represent Abbey Honey with all the people coming in, and it was pretty nice. They probably had about, hey Sean, good afternoon to you, brother. Thanks, thanks. Hey, are you on the road right now, Sean? Hey Sherry, hello. Oh my goodness, man. The members are showing up. Oh, thank you guys. So I was saying earlier that I was over at the gift shop, and actually I shot a video for you guys. I'll be posting that for y'all real soon. But it was over there at the gift shop because they had the open house, and like I said, they asked me to come over representing the Abbey Honey. Yeah, just east of Nashville, heading to Miami. Golly, and what? So Sean, are you got a TV in that truck with you, or what? 2%. Good afternoon. Oh, thank you for the blessing too. Good to see you too. Look at that, Lee. Don't you have work to go to this afternoon? Lee from Kodiak Farms, up in Denham Springs, and Lee's got a great operation up there. His studio is so awesome. Hey Larry, how are you? Thank you for coming by this afternoon. Oh man, this is going to be fun. Like I said, I really didn't have plans on evening. Good evening. What time is it, VRF? What time is it wherever you are? Where are you? It's almost like a spur of the moment kind of thing. But man, it's been so long since I've gone live, and I really want to just reach out to everybody. And it's been so long since I've done it. So hopefully y'all be able to ask me some questions, and I'll be able to answer them for you. Maybe. Hey Lawrence, sweeter than honey to bees here. Tresleen from Cornwall. What Cornwall? Where is that? Tris, where is that? So come on. Let's I got some stuff that I want to talk about. So to start off with, that the title of this, hey Dr. Bruce. Dr. Bruce, one of my long faithful viewers, as so many of you are, and good to have you on, Dr. Bruce. Evan, I told you I'd be here. I'm glad you made it. Don't forget to push the thumbs up. Oh, thanks 2%. Yeah, you can push the thumbs up. Oh yes, when I was over at the gift shop this morning, I just brought my, well, actually Mona told me to wear this thing today, so I wore it. Look at that, from Greece. Wow, we grandfather. Kind of like Papa Noel with this and this on, huh? Got the white beard and the white hat too. So how about some questions for you? Or I'll tell you how come I named the video "Is Spring in the Air," and the thumbnail, because when I was walking to the gift shop, I passed by this plant, and I don't know what kind of plant it is. It's growing right on the side of our shop, and there's all these flower blooms on it, and 82 degrees. What? No, it's not 82 here. I think it's like it's right around 70. 7:05 in England. Thank you. What part of England, VRF? Hey, Annette. Hello. What part of England, VRF? Lee, I don't think it's 82 outside. Let me see on my phone what it is outside. I don't think it's 82 though. Now it's only 77, Lee. 77. I guess in Denham Springs it's a little bit hotter. But I was passing by and I saw that it was blue and said, "What is going on?" And I know that I've seen those. I don't even know what kind of plant that is, but I've seen it. It puts a yellow stalk out, and then uh, I've seen the bees working that. Gene, hello from El Paso, Texas. I actually lived in El Paso, Texas back in 1960 to 63, I think it was, that we moved and then moved up to, moved down to Panama. Richard Haas, what is the best advice you can give to someone wanting to start in bees, keeping bees in Durham, North Carolina? Man, the best advice I could always give to somebody starting up bees is learn to keep bees in your specific area. And to do that, I would always recommend joining a bee club in your area. Bob Luciano, good afternoon. Honey warmers and possibly your experience. Uh, as far as a honey warmer goes, I use my bottler. It's a Maxent bottler, and that's all I use to keep the honey from crystallizing, and then it keeps it in a liquid form. And I never set the temperatures. I set it right at 100. So sometimes I go up to 104, but 100 degrees is what I like it. J.W. Irwin, I got dandelions in Southeast Illinois. Mark Reeland from Essex, England. Oh, thank you, Mark. Wow, Luis Diaz from Mexico. Hot dog. Langshire. Okay, thank you, VR. I'm a retired postman. Hot dog for you. So how long are you retired? I'm working on my 15th year now. Love my Maxent. Oh yeah, they're very good bottler for sure. Dave Griffith from a cold, wet Dublin, Ireland. Wow. One day I would love to make it over to that part of the world. Man, the countryside in Ireland. I've seen so many beautiful pictures. I'd love to visit. Hey, Joey. Lisa's with you too? Wildwoods. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. What do you do with comb honey crystallizing in jars? Uh, that's the I try to never let the honey crystallize in jars because for that I don't know how to do it. So I always when I bring honey to the gift shop, hey Alec, um, New York City, uh, I always bring it to the gift shop in liquid state. I'll keep it if it's crystallized here in my honey house. I'll decrystallize it, but I make sure that when it goes over there, it's crystallized because I know it's very difficult to decrystallize. It's not very difficult to decrystallize because you can, put it in some kind of water, warm hot water. But I don't know about if you have wax in it as well. I don't know how that would work. So I'm not really able to comment on that part. It's definitely a tricky thing. Larry Gooden, hello. Don Stanley from Southeast North Carolina. All right, now Don, remember I'm going to be going up to New Burns in March, I think. Yeah, March. So there's some spots on my backyard. I just can't get these all sunny areas. There are some spots in my backyard. I just can't get the bees to survive. Um, I don't really understand what you're asking me, Don. Is it true that honeybees can last forever? Uh, no. Honeybees, a long life lived honeybee is about 6 weeks, except for our queens. Our queens can live up to 5 years, so I've been told. But that's for me, that's not been the case. 2 years about all they get. Eric, what do you do to stop bees from robbing hives? The best thing you do to stop bees from robbing hives is to plug it up. The other thing is to prevent it. Don't, do what you can to prevent robbing. So reduce entrances, keep your bees as strong as they can. Uh, it's once the number of bees in the hive start to decline, they become susceptible to robbing because they can't defend the space. So close your entrance, reduce your entrance, and if it does start robbing, shut the hive off. You need to close it off. Bob Luciano, thank you. Were you a mailman? Yes, I was. I carried mail in a truck, but I did that for 27 years. Johnny, does honey expire? Well, they've taken honey out of the tombs in Egypt that was over 2,000 years ago, 2,000 years old, and it was still good. Now, did it taste good? I wouldn't say it tasted good, but it still was you could eat it. So I've been told. So no, honey doesn't go bad. Haas Buzz Homestead. Hey Jeff, Gunline bees. All right, great to have you on today. Certain spots in my yard have put bees, but they don't stay. What when you say you put a hive there and they don't stay, what they abscond? Is that what you're saying? Don, is that what you're saying? Oh, I hope I get plenty of comments today because I'm looking. I got the big screen up so I can read it pretty good now. And I like when you all are commenting to each other. It's good to know that other people know each other on my channel. That's pretty slick. Could I be a keeper in the middle of Manhattan? I've got my buddy Johnny. I've got my buddy Tom Wilt up in New York City, and he keeps bees on top of skyscrapers, and he calls his honey zip code honey because he bottles the honey from the individual buildings. So each building has its own zip code, and so when he bottles his honey, it stays in there. So the question is, can you be a beekeeper in the middle of Manhattan? Yes, it is very possible. Dave Griffith, does honey have antiseptic qualities and or assist with skin issues? So I know for a fact that um, they are using honey in burn victims. The reason, from my understanding, or the reason honey is a good use of that is because bacteria will not grow in it, which is why it never goes bad. Bacteria will not grow in honey, and so they cover the wounds with honey, and that, in essence, kind of like what the propolis does in the beehive, it kind of keeps bacteria and germs from coming in. So the honey does have value, medicinal value for that reason. And then on top of that, it just tastes really good. Hey, Joey, what are y'all doing this afternoon? I, I tried to watch your video this morning, but I was too late and didn't get to watch it. So that's Joey Riles with Joey's got a YouTube channel. In case for those that didn't know, David Tucker. God bless you and your bees, brother. Thanks so much, Dave. Receiving blessings from people, man, that's just like one of my best perks that I have for having a channel that I get blessings from so many people, and I thank you all very, very much for that, as well as for watching the channel. Why do we need to save the bees? Well, simply because without bees, within 4 years, so I've been told that there wouldn't be any humans. We would all starve because bees are our main pollinators. Are you going anywhere for Christmas? Now, Moni and I are staying home, but right after Christmas, Mona won't be coming, but I'll be headed up to Louisville to the North American Honeybee Expo. That's Cayman Reynolds Expo, man, and I'm pumped and looking forward to that. The honey from the very small hives in the Yucatan is supposed to be sought after for medicinal treatment, as is a lot of honey. Lisa got me working in the backyard. I make a mixture of beeswax and olive oil, great for wounds. Yes, but I mean, both of those things are great, are great medicinal ointments. So Lee, when are you leaving? What, I know Good Time Charlie and I, we're headed up. We're going to be leaving on sometime early Wednesday morning. And for us, it's about an 11-hour trip up there. So you're in that same neighborhood, Lee, about 11 hours to get up there. I wonder how you got out of work to get up there. That's what I'm wondering. But so while I'm talking about the expo, it's I meant that is why. Oh yes, I'm sorry, 2%. I know because you're a beekeeper, so you know that. Yeah, for sure. That's why we need to. It is why we have to work on keeping bees. But I am looking forward to headed up to Louisville. The only thing that I always worry about leaving Louisiana is getting in snow because here down here, I'm just. I mean, we probably get snow every 10 years, and I'm just not a big snow person. Should I be afraid when a random bee flies around me? I have a habit of swatting it so it doesn't sting me. If a random bee is flying around you, it's just looking for, you might have something on you that it smells, but nah, I wouldn't worry too much about it. But if you're allergic to them, there's always that you have to have that consideration if you are. So you got to be there Tuesday night. What, you're going to sleep in a horizontal hive? Well, I'm telling you, that is going to be an awesome show. I mean, last year I was just blown away by just the size of that whole show, the amount of exhibitors there, and man, it's just like to be in that hall in mixed in with all the 2,000 people that were there. And this year, I think that he's hoping to get 3,000 people up there, and it's a much larger venue spot. So it is going to be just mind blowing. I'm just really looking forward to it. Not so much the ride up and back, but being there for sure. Look who it is, folks. World famous Mike Barry. And he says, I'm going to the expo just to see Mr. Ed. Don't believe that. So what while I'm at the expo, one of the things that I'll be doing up there is John Hill from Hillco a long time ago sent me an extractor to do an extraction comparison video. And when he sent it to me, he asked if I could bring that with me when we go up to the expo, and he's going to give that extractor away. Well, world famous Mike Barry bought one of those extractors, and he was actually the one who told me about, man, you ought to ask John about doing a video on that. And so I did, and John said, yeah, he was more than happy to do it, did the video. And so that very extractor, Charlie and I are going to put it in his car, and we're bringing it up to Louisville with us. And somebody who's there is going to be winning it. And Mike, I really want you to be there when we draw that name, because I mean, Mike has a lot to do with promoting that product as well. I mean, it is a great, awesome product. But him saying that he's going there just to see me, that's not true. He calls me up like 4 or 5 times a day. He's always wanting to ask Mr. Ed his advice for something, but and I try to help the guy out. But that's world famous Mike Barry for you. Are there any bee videos in other countries that surprise you, like the different ways they harvest honey, minimal protection? Oh yeah, those guys that are on the side of the the guys on the side of the mountain pulling down those hives that are just like 6 feet tall, full of honey. That is just unbelievable. Yeah, I'm fascinated by that. And they're not wearing anything, and they're catching that stuff in buckets in there. Who knows how tall they are? Philip Duncan, look at that. I look forward to seeing y'all again. Yeah, Phil, it's going to be a great time. Your photo is on the website. What photo is on the website, Sean? Actually, I think my picture is in a lot of different places, but the last place I saw it was at the post office on their um, wall outside. I was wanting for something. Oh, look at that on the Navi website. Oh, awesome. It's been a while since I went and I looked at their website. I'm gonna have to do that. I guess I should have done that before I went live, so I would have been a little bit more knowledgeable about it. They've got so many speakers there. I think there's 25 speakers there, and man, lots and lots of YouTube personalities, which is one of the reasons why so many people go there, to see the personalities and the vendors, because when you're there, the vendors are offering these tremendous discounts. Many of them are tremendous discounts. and it's one of the things that Kane would say, that very often if you buy big ticket items, that the savings will offset almost the cost of admission to the expo. And even if you're there, like last year, I can remember, I mean, literally dozens of people walking around with dollies with frames and boxes, just all kind of bee supplies. Oh, Annette, thank you so much, Annette. Oh, it's so kind of you. Hey, Nasha, glad to have you with me today. Wow, this is the first time you've joined on one of the live ones. She's almost a brand new subscriber. Is there a honey that's really expensive? Have you tried any? Yeah, I have heard that there's some kind of, oh, I don't remember the name of it. Um, there is some very expensive honey. Sorry, that name slips my mind. I'm going to sell autographed photos of Mr. Ed. That will pay my ticket. Well, Mike, you're gonna have to pay people to take those from you. I don't think anybody's gonna want to pay you for them. But I always say, anybody going to the 628 Dirt Roosters booth and buying any of his merchandise, and I mean any of it, I have no problem whatsoever in devaluing it and devaluing the face of whatever it is, shirt, hat, cup, mug. I don't care what it is. I'll put my name all over it, and it'll really, well, you might not want it after that, but I'll be more than happy to do that. So, Evan, you follow along with world famous Mike Barry as well, huh? All right, so let me tell you what. While I'm waiting for y'all to ask some questions, I'll tell you what I am doing presently, out in the yards, and what it is I'm bringing in any of my supers, that any hod that has more than three supers on them. Why is it expensive? Is there a rare type of bee that makes better honey? Nah, I don't. I think it's just a supply and demand thing. To me, I wouldn't pay $30 for a pint of honey, but some people would. So it's, if they want to do it, if the market's there, and they can get the price, well, they can get it. But to me, it's always best to eat honey that's local in your area. That's going to do your body the best, because that's got the honey that comes from that, or from that area. The bees are working trees, flowers, plants in your area. So when you ingest that honey, in a sense, you are ingesting part of that environment. So it helps with your um, immunity uh, to allergies, to that. What are your holiday plans? Oh, me and Miss Mona, we're gonna just be cuddling up. It's we have Christmas Eve with my family, and uh, I don't know what's going on with her family yet, so we'll find that out that later. She's still talking with them, so I don't know about that. Dr. Bruce, how did you get commercials on Alive? Oh, I don't know. I don't know that. DCBs, thank you for joining me this afternoon. Morning, my brother. Hope the day finds you and yours well. It started out great over at the gift shop selling honey. It was a good morning. Billy Sanford, do you run into any Africanized bee swarms? I haven't, and I've been doing this for 14, 15 years, and I've yet to come into contact with bees that are Africanized. I mean, I've got some bees with attitudes, but not like Africanized bees. Dave Griffin, I've seen you occasionally say on your videos, a cold day. What do you consider a cold day? A cold day for me is anything below 50 degrees. I don't like cold weather at all. I really don't. When I go to bed, I like to have a lot of blankets on me. Well, sorry about the commercials. I'm sorry. I didn't realize that. Tanks in space. Is biological honey from the supermarket really honey? I don't know what biological honey is. And I don't buy honey from a supermarket. And I always recommend if you buy honey from like a flea market or beekeeper that you know. Get honey from bees in your area. That is going to do you the best. What's an Africanized bee? An Africanized bee is a species of bees that are very, very aggressive. They were brought over to Brazil. They got out from Brazil. They migrated all the way up in from Brazil through Central America into North America, and now they're in the continental United States. So they're here, but not exactly in our areas. One day they'll be here, but for now, no. Joseph, I noticed that one time that you retrieved a swarm that it had several super cells in the works. Why is more than one created? So, in more than likely, and I don't know exactly what you're talking about, but I'm imagining you were talking about that hive that Charlie and I did the cutout. We brought it here, and I tried to introduce queens to it. They killed the queen, but the reason they killed the queen because they were already forming emergency cells. And emergency cells are formed when a colony doesn't have a queen, and the bees use one of the eggs that's already laid, an egg 1 to 3 days old, and then they create a bee from that. Eric Spain, raw Manila honey from New Zealand, and it's used to heal abrasions. That's a very, so Eric says it's a really expensive one. Manila honey. Thanks, Eric. Dave Barnum, I watched some of your first videos recently. Wow. Oh, when you say first videos, that goes back 11 years, and was wondering if you have a succession plan for the apiary. Uh, Actually, the monks have asked me about that very same question, and we are discussing it. Yeah, so I don't. It's not my operation; it's the monks' operation. However, there isn't anybody to take over if something would happen to me. So yeah, we are talking about it. Good for you, 2%. Hey, Rodney, are you sure that's not Don? Let me see. Wait, hold on. Oh no, I don't have it right there. Moan and I are gonna we over our Christmas break. That's one of the things we're doing over Christmas is we are going to be out in the honey house getting the honey house ready for everybody's label to go up. Do we need them? You said save the bees. Would that be a good thing? Of course, saving the bees is a good thing. That's what it is, Manuka. That's it. Manuka honey. That's the one I was trying to think of too. Thanks, Eric. Has the bee population decreased in your state? Well, I don't know about if it's decreased, but I know this year I had fewer removals than that last year. So what does that mean? It might not mean anything, but we still have a lot of bees in Southeast Louisiana, in Southern United States. Eddie and Angie. Oh, two of them. Looking forward to seeing you in January. Great. I'm telling you, it's going to be so wonderful to see the faces of people that all I see are their names. So I am looking forward to it. Now, not only am I going to be there, in fact, Good Time Charlie and Wreck-It Ralph are going to be there. And Charlie and I, Good Time Charlie and I, we're riding up together. So we're gonna have a fun trip going up. We're gonna have a better time when we're there, and we're gonna have lots to talk about on our trip home. Jeff needs an apprentice, a young aspiring person that likes bugs and likes getting stung. That's like that's a part nobody ever talks about. You know, bees sting, right? That's the thing. That's why nobody wants to take over if I'm not there. Road trip is right now. It'll probably take us, by the time Charlie and I get up there, it's supposed to take 10 hours. It'll probably take us 12 plus. Yeah, us old folks, yeah. You don't want to get behind us on the interstate. So getting back to what I'm doing right now, since I'm waiting for some people to talk. I'm bringing in all of our boxes, any of our hive that has 3 deeps on it, which were my 3rd deep would be my honey super. I'm bringing those in. And so on Wednesday, Julio and I went out and we went to 3 of our yards, and we brought in, oh my gosh, we brought in a ton of boxes. But out of all the boxes, we also did bring in probably about at least 2 solid frames. I mean, 2 solid boxes of honey. About that, those 2 boxes alone probably weighed about 70 pounds or more. And then we've got plenty of other small frames in there. So we got a lot of honey from those, but Charlie and I got to go do the rest of them. Do you ever get called out for a bee issue to discover their hornets or the like? Of course, yeah. That's so it's usually when people call me now, because that's happened so many times, I say, send me pictures. And even when they send me pictures, I'm able to distinguish, whether they're yellow jackets or wasps. So yeah, that happens regularly. And to save me a trip going to checking to see, that's why I always say, send me pictures, because I'm tired of going and looking and finding out it's yellow jackets or wasps. Charlie's vehicle will have room for the equipment to take home after you deliver. Oh yeah, that's what Charlie said. He said, yeah, we'll take that up there. No telling what we're going to come back with. And he's right. I don't know what what we're going to have coming back, but I'm glad that we'll be driving in Charlie's. Charlie's got a Suburban, I think. I think that's what he's got. So we'll be taking that up there. So we went, Julio and I went and brought back, I think it was 30 or 32 boxes that either needed to, they're just different things were going on. Most of them were empty frames because our honey flow was so bad this year that many of the boxes I put in, they didn't even draw the comb out. Dave Tucker. Hey, Mr. Ed, why don't you call the rooster right now, see if he's working? When I call, because Randy and I talk, it's almost every day we talk. And I think it's code now for him that I say, what you doing? And he always says, oh, I'm editing my next video. That's what he always tells me. He's editing his next video. And yet I'm waiting. I said, well, when are you going to post it? And he goes, I'm going to post it. So right now, I'll call him right now. I'm sure that's what he'd tell me. Oh, I'm working on my next video. Great talking to you, and Merry Christmas as well. Melapino honey is from the Yucatan. Somebody sent me some honey from Belize. I don't know what kind it is. Do you going to make a video from the event? Oh yes, I'll definitely. I'll have at least one video from the event. And there's so many YouTubers at the event that I'll be speaking right now. I've got 3 invitations to speak at other YouTube people's uh, chats. So the event is going to be all over YouTube. You all you have to do is type up North American Honeybee Expo, and you're going to see all kind of videos about it. Heck, I bet you even world famous Mike Barry puts out one. Joey Riles, everybody's going to be putting out, because you walk around there and you see all these guys with GoPros carrying around Yappy. He's probably got like 4 or 5 of them carrying around. Angie wants to know about that quilt hanging behind you. Is that a gift from Mona? Yep, Mona made that one for me, and that one. What's real special about that quilt right there is that I've got YouTube guys sign it. You know, everybody asks people to sign their hats, shirts, whatever. Well, I get them to sign the little hexies on it. So I've got plenty of stars, of signatures up there. Merry Christmas to you, Patrick. Oh yeah, Lee's name is on that too. So those stingless bees in Mexico, I've watched several videos about those things. They're very interesting. They're tiny little bees, but they can't make that much honey. They really can't. They really can't. And that would I know there's a stingless bee. I believe there's even a species of it in native to Florida as well. How do you get your name up there? Do I have to visit the Abbey? No, you don't have to visit the Abbey. The easiest way is to go to the expo, but that's the easiest way to get to, because that's where all those guys were that signed it last year. Yeah, I got a thumbs up. Wow. Can you show us up close? Well, let's see. I really can't, because my computer is hooked up to my screen, and I can't. Let's see. No, I'm sorry, Dr. Bruce. We're gonna have to do that at a different time. But I've got a video showing this video. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm sorry, Dr. Bruce. We can't do it on this one. That is one beautiful quilt. I bet you she's got at least 500 hours in that quilt. It's just any quilt. Anybody that makes quilts knows how difficult they are, and it's a creation of love. Every one of those quilts that Mona's made, and she's made probably, I'd say 5 or 6 that she's made for us. And she keeps making them because she wants to change them. Every season she wants to put another quilt on the bed, and then she makes quilts for other people as well. So it's just, she does such beautiful work. Christine, hello from Australia. What time is it right now in Australia, Christine? Do you separate your honey according to the location? I do not, because it's too much trouble for us when we're bringing in our honey supers. It all just goes into one spot, and we all just run it through at one time. It would just be too complicated for me to separate it out, because the batches run into each other. They would run into each other. So now ours is a blend, but you can taste difference in the drums, because they're gotten from different locations. So even our operation, even though we sell it as Abbey Honey, it will taste different. One batch can taste different from another batch, and that's because that overlap from when the honey is being processed and then poured into the drum, and that honey stops and another one comes. So it's pretty interesting. St. Louis, Missouri. So Pancho, I'll be speaking in St. Louis in I believe it's February the 9th. Yeah, February 9th. I'll be in St. Louis. I can't remember where the location is, but be aware, Pancho, that I will be up there, and I believe Corey Stevens will be there, and I can't remember who the other guy is going to be there with it, but there's going to be a couple of speakers up there. It's I believe a 1-day event. You said you had a slow honey season. What happens to sales? Well, fortunately, as far as sales go, that we had honey reserves. So I'm using our reserves from last year to tie us over. In fact, I've almost depleted all that, and we're down to now this year's honey. And 6:40 in the morning. Oh, it's still early over there, Christine. Early riser, are you? So we're I've got my fingers crossed that I won't run out of honey this year, but it's very possible that we will. Dave, I'm going to have to run. All right, Dave. Thanks so much for dropping by. Headed out to dinner. Enjoy your dinner and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you for the invitation as well, Dave. God bless. Hello, Linda from Independence, Missouri. So where in Missouri is Independence? I don't really know. Bo Ely from Washington. Is that Washington State or D.C.? So while we're waiting for other people to ask questions, the I'd say that when Julio and I had gone out, we brought about 30 boxes back, and in the boxes, most of them were just foundation. The bees hadn't even drawn them out. I would say 20 of them, more than 20 of them. In the Netherlands, 8:40. Oh my goodness, in the evening. I'd be in bed already at 8:40. And I had 3 dead outs in those 3 yards, but they had been dead outs for a long time because the wax moth had. Look at that! Bob shows up from Walker Bee Ranch. So Bob's another YouTube guy. In fact, Bob and Lee they do a online talk. I believe it's on Tuesday. Huh, Bob? Anyway, Bob, tell me what y'all's channel is. It was slim pickings for everybody, as far as honey down here at least. 9:45, Evan. Wow, yeah. I know, Evan, that you said that you live kind of far away, but I didn't realize you lived in South Africa. It was why you weren't to attend the expo. Come on, Bob. Tell me what is y'all's channel? What is it called? Trying to give you a plug here, Bob. Thanks, Lee. Lee says every Tuesday, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, alternate on Kodiak Bee Farms and Walker Bee Ranch. So yeah, so you go to either their Lee's channel, which is Kodiak Farm Bees, and then Walker Bee Ranch, and those guys stay up late. I know they do because I've been on it a few times, and I have to say I got to go. It's time for me to go to bed. I love that question, Billy. Does Rooster dye his? I don't know about the rooster, but I would say no. I don't dye mine, that's for sure. 11:44 in LA. Wow. East of Kansas City. Thank you, Linda. You have slow comments. I was timed out. Yeah, you're old and you just can't type as fast as Lee. Hey, Pappy Richard from Central Pennsylvania. Thanks for coming by this afternoon. The No Life Beekeeper chat for a reason. How is Good Time Charlie? Good Time Charlie right now is out in Lake Pontchartrain catching big old speckled trout. I called him right before I went on air to see what he's doing. And Charlie, all right, this is the truth. Charlie likes to fish more than Charlie likes to do bees. In fact, you probably heard him say on more than one occasion, "I hate beekeeping," and he does not hate beekeeping. Hey, James, he doesn't hate beekeeping. He just hates getting stung. And poor Charlie gets stung a lot. Well, I wouldn't say he gets stung more than me, but he gets stung a lot. And he's just the camera guy. And a lot of times I'm wearing my suit and Charlie's out there just with the camera without a suit and he'll get nailed. And so that's it. He's not happy when he does. When we go offshore fishing again, I don't know. We did have a good time when we did that. Ed Evans, I had bees all over my live oak tree this year. The hull over the acorns looked like they had sugar powder and crystals on it. Huh. I wonder what that was. So where do you live, Ed? What state? Where are you? I mean, live oaks, they grow everywhere. So for all the fishing fans, I posted a video. Let's see, it wasn't that long ago where me and the Arkansas Adventure guys, when I retired from the post office, actually it's a bunch of us retired guys from the post office, and we go fishing. Couple times a year we go fishing, and in well, it was just a couple, maybe a month or two ago, we went to Mississippi and we fished out of Gulfport, I believe it was, and we fished offshore. And man, we were catching these big old jackfish, and we had a good old time. And I did post a video on that short video, so y'all maybe could go onto the channel and find it and look at it. Foxtrot, how do you have time to fish? You're always on the road. So now she asks, how is JP? Last time I talked with JP, which has probably been a month ago, JP is doing great. I know right now deer season is open, so he's at his camp hunting. That JP is a big deer hunter. I know that. Good time, Charlie napping. From Bedford, England. Glad to have you, Matt. Would use two deeps, catch bigger swarms. I use one deep to do my swarm traps. That's what I use. I like a 10 frame deep to do my swarm traps, using old brood comb in there, and I use lemongrass oil. That's it. Well, Pappy, you make sure you find me when we're up there. Love to shake your hand. David Barnium, do Charlie and Ralph have bees? Yes, Charlie's got about 7 or 8 hives, and Ralph's got probably about 40, maybe 50. Hey, Carol L. Robin Martin from snowy Montana. What's the temperature right there, Robin? Alec Jock. I still have hopes to get a queen cell from that huge gentle queen that you brought up to. Yeah, I don't hold your breath on that one, Alec. 2 commercials, what? I see what you say, Dr. Bruce. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about memberships. It got us too, Joey. Well, trust me, if there was a commercial, and I know there was, You haven't missed anything because I'm just still talking and I'm not talking about anything in particular. So it's not like you missed anything. The only thing you missed was probably Joey and you talking to each other. So DC, you say, I see no commercials ever. You must pay for that. 18 degrees in Montana. Man, I'm glad I don't live there. Bees have been out in force here today in windy Surrey, England. My goodness, it's not cold over there, Paul? Golly. I know our bees are flying today as well, but like I said earlier, it's 77 degrees here. Our temperatures, they can warm up really fast. I mean, this morning it wasn't that cool this morning. It was 61, but yesterday it was 39 and it warmed up to into the 60s and then it stayed there and I think that we're going to start cooling off. I think it's on Monday. In fact, Monday I know because I saw the lows are going to be 39 and the highs are going to be in the low 60s on Monday, which Charlie and I are going to go pull boxes on Monday. Yeah, and so I will have a video on us pulling the boxes and showing you what I do because I've still got to get all of our boxes, all of our hives need to come down to 2 deep supers so that I can go into the real winter with 2 hives, 2 boxes on each hive so that I can make my splits. And on the video you'll see it's incredible how healthy our bees are at this stage. Now, on the thumbnail of this video for this live chat, I showed a picture of, I don't know what kind of plant that is, and it's getting ready to bloom out. And the interesting thing is that I'm always looking at things that are getting ready to bloom. And here it is, December 9th. And the other morning I was walking by the monks area over there. I'm gonna have to stop those ads. I don't know. I'm sorry about that. It's not. I'll correct that the next time. But the red maple tree in their courtyard, I noticed last year, December the 3rd, they had blooms on it and the bees were already on those blooms. That was December 3rd. Normally our maple trees will bloom beginning of January. So it was like a month early. And when I went and looked the other day, it was 2 days ago. It might've been 3 days ago that I looked, and I looked up in the top of the tree. There's no leaves in there. And the flower buds are thick. I mean, they're getting ready to open. So I always talk to world famous Mike Barry about this. I say, Mike, the bees are on the blooms already. And so for us, the maples and the willows, those are our first blooming trees that begin the process of bees building up in our hives. And as far as building up, a hive building up, they slow down a little bit in November and December. And then really for us, around mid-December, end of December, they're already starting to, our queens are already starting to lay because they're having the pollen, the food is coming in. So they're gearing up. And it's always a thing on timing that you as a beekeeper have to be ready to meet the bees' demands as far as space goes, like giving them extra room at boxes. And as long as we're on top of that, then we keep up so that we're watching so the space isn't getting filled out, and then you have to worry about them swarming. So you got to do your splits. So all this, it's all part of the beekeep, which is actually the only really main thing that I do as a beekeeper was I grow bees and I split them. 53 in Syracuse, David. So it's for me. I'm really look at what's going on in the trees and the blooms around me, because that tells me what's going on inside of my bees into our hives. And judging from what I saw, I would say at least 70% of the hives that I went into, when I took off the third box and saw the cluster of bees, they were clustered in anywhere from 5 to 7 frames out. And I didn't go down into the box below it, but I'm sure they did taper down. And out of those 70% of hives that were in that condition, the weight of the boxes, and I just lift up the back of the box and check weight. I mean, 50 pounds, 60 pounds of honey. I mean, they lots of weight in it. So I'm not concerned, um, for the majority of them. A few of them were lighter than I had wanted, but the ones that were light, when I was pulling frames of honey, I would drop frames of honey into boxes that were light. So I'm trying to make up, for what the bees didn't get, and that's not their fault. It was because of our tallow flow, didn't happen like it should have. So it's not the bees' fault that they didn't collect the honey. So we're just trying to make up the difference, and hopefully by the time Charlie and I finish, hopefully we'll finish it on Monday. I'll have a full count of the number of active hives we have and what we have going into January. And generally, how many hives I'm going into January, I'll still may lose 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 of those hives. And um, by the time I start doing my splits, I'll be working somewhere in the neighborhood of 120 to 150 hives. Somewhere in there is what I'll be working back. Jeff, shoot, 60 degrees in Tennessee. What part of Tennessee? I never heard anything about those hornets, Alex. Alec, uh, and if Bob said anything about it, that Bob is on top of things. How is your horizontal hive doing, man? So I've got 3 hives at our house, and the horizontal hive at the house, it is just kicking, full of bees, full of bees. And that one, again, it'll be one that I have to watch to make sure it doesn't swarm on me, because I've probably got probably 19 frames in that box right now, and they've got bees on, because I checked the holes on them, and I've got bees on the first 3, 6, 9 frames, because when I open up the little top, I see the bees on it. So that hive is doing excellent, very, very good. Hey Lee, you know everybody, don't you? I was just checking the time. It's time for me to go to bed. All right, Sean. Thanks so much. You drive safe out there, and thanks again for being a member, Sean. I do appreciate that kindness of yours. Thank you. Be safe out there, brother. God bless. Bayou Homestead. I started keeping bees around May of this year, and I'm Southwest Louisiana. When is a good time to start splits? I start checking my hives in end of February. In fact, I've caught swarms. My earliest swarm catch was February the 3rd. So by by middle of February, end of February, I'm doing splits. Yeah, I know that's the problem about when there's a bad nectar flow, that the hives are very light. And Mike Barry, world famous Mike Barry, and I were talking or agonizing. I remember in April and May, thinking that how we're going to have to actually feed our bees just to get them through the winter. But fortunately for us, um, our fall nectar, primarily our goldenrod, it was super abundant. And I really think that was what saved us this year was the fall flow of goldenrod. Really, the bees were able to capitalize on that and be able to store a lot because our hives are really in good shape. Pappy Richard, I have 18 colonies going into winter. Hoping they have enough stores. Yeah, I hope so too, man. It's always a scary thing going through winter because you can't really go in there. And you guys up north, man, I don't envy you all at all. At least here, I can feed them not sugar water, but I could put cakes on them if I wanted. But I don't even do that. They have to have their own stores. So I'm not. I try to give them what they need, but if they weren't able to do it, and this year really wasn't their fault, and that's why I'm checking them. Um, they really need to do it on their own. For me, Swarmstead Bees and Garden, glad to have you. Getting a heating bottling tank and was wondering how they perform with honey that was crystallized. So I would highly recommend getting a heated bottler. They actually do decrystallize the honey to some degree, to a pretty good degree. Some people I know they'll dump crystallized honey in there, set their heaters, and let it decrystallize. But I don't like setting my heat on the bottler above 100 degrees. I set it at 100 degrees. It might creep up to 104, but I keep it at 100. And at 100, it will decrystallize a bunch of the honey, but you may get at the bottom of the tank a layer of crystallized honey. So what I do is before I pump my honey into my bottler, I make sure it's decrystallized, and I do that through either using the blanket on my drums, and I decrystallize it there, and I just pump the liquid honey that's 100 degrees already into my bottler, and then when I get that layer of crystallized honey on the bottom of the drum, I dump that into my kettle and heat it up to it might go over a little bit over 100, but I still keep it at 100. But I'm stirring it to keep that heat constant and break all the crystals down. And once I do that, turn it off and just let it sit, and it'll all go into a liquid form. And then I pump that into my bottler. But yes, having a heated bottler is a great tool. In fact, I'm hoping to do a comparison video on bottlers when I go up to the expo. I'm going to be talking to vendors about who wants to participate in that video. Do you have another way people can donate? YouTube takes too much. No, 2%. Thank you for that, for your offer. And I realized that. So I started memberships on the channel because I get so many people like 2% who would want to contribute to me, because what I do at the Abbey, it's all for the monks. All the honey, all the stuff that you see, all that belongs to the monks. And I'm just a volunteer up here. So the YouTube channel, that's my thing. And I do, because of what I do with the monks, I shoot videos on that, and I do get that income from that. So I started the YouTube, the membership program from YouTube, and they do take a big chunk of change. They take 30% of whatever it is that you would donate. So I only have one membership level, and it's $4.99 a month, and YouTube will take 30% of that. But it's not. If you want to donate to me specifically, there's ways to do it. You can like Annette just made a donation, $9.99, and people on even on my regular videos, they'll send money. So if you're so inclined, and I hate to sound like I'm begging, because I'm not, but I know that for a lot of people, they want to help, and that is one of the ways they can help. So, just I leave it up to you, and I appreciate all those that consider sending me donations money for that. So thank you for that. Why does honey crystallize? And that's because of the sugar content in the nectar, that the honeys, when they're gathering it, it's in the nectar. The bees don't do anything. It's the nectar that the bees gather. And that is the amount of sugar content in it. And there are chemical equations, because I've seen them, that why if certain enzymes or particles are more prevalent in the nectar, it's more prone to crystallize, and if they're not, it's less prone. In fact, our honey from this year, because our honey did not have tallow in it, it still hasn't crystallized. And normally, when we have tallow in our honey, 6, 7, 8 weeks, you got crystallized honey. Here it is; it's been 6 months, and it's still liquid. So it depends on the source of nectar, and then those enzymes that are in that nectar that promote or don't promote the formation of crystals. Do you make all creamed honey there for the store? No, not yet, but that is on my agenda. I want to do creamed honey because a lot of people have asked about it. It's just that would be one more thing that I have to go and do, and I just haven't been willing to cross that bridge yet. But it's coming up. I will do it. Joy Rowell says the Hilco 19-gallon bottling tank. I have a 9-gallon Hilco tank. Hilco, I can't sing Hilco's praises enough. I mean, I'm a big fan of Hilco stuff. He really does a great job. And the best, I think one of the best things that John Hill does as president of the company is the warranty and the service department. Man, they are just they bend over backwards for sales and for support. You can't go wrong with the Hilco, in my opinion. It's a safe product to buy. It really is. So David says, I have one bucket that's crystallized and the bucket next to it isn't. So again, it's you could have different sources of nectar in those buckets. It isn't the container that the bucket's in. It's just the source of nectar. So Annette, I'll I'll post an address here to the Abbey if in fact anyone who wants to send a card or their honey bottle label to me here at the Abbey, I'll post in the description of this video. I'll have to go back and do that. So after the video goes off, I'll go back and do that, and you can look for the address here at the Abbey if anybody would like to send me anything. Now she asks, "What's creamed honey?" Oh man, that stuff is awesome stuff. I have people send me creamed honey, and I like creamed honey a lot because it's spreadable. It's crystallized honey, but it's not like solid. It's like peanut butter, but it's crystally. It's awesome stuff. I have to store my honey in my basement, like the 19-gallon Hilco one. Yeah, that 19-gallon one is a beautiful one, Linda. It is. So the labels still are sitting in my drawer. Look, I got them right here. Well, this is just some of them right here with all the letters. And I want to do a special video just on all that stuff. Mona and I are going to be painting the honey house during Christmas, and the labels are going to be going up at that time. After that, so man, there's so many beautiful letters in that stories of what my videos have done for them, and it's just there's some great stuff in there, and I can't just keep them in letters in my desk drawer. So I'm going to share those, some of those as we go along, because it's it really it means a lot to me that folks send me their labels, and tell me their stories. I love getting when I get people send me their labels, their honey labels. I love it when there's a letter in there, just telling me about their apiary, their how they started keeping bees. It's just it's always great to hear from you. So I appreciate it, and thank everybody for who sent labels. Uh, um, Trust me, they are going up. Hey, Larry, I see you joined in. Thank you. And so I did get your email today. So look, this is this is yours right here, Larry. It's waiting for you. So Larry is a longtime viewer, and also a very, very generous donor as well. So I'm sending Larry some of our special. This honey right here is honey that came out of the RV that Charlie and I did a couple weeks ago. Man, that was an awesome removal. That hive weighed over 150 pounds, and we got it was 82 pounds of honey from that after I cleaned it all out. Nasty comb and all, but the honey still looks. Look at that. It still looks pretty, huh? Nothing wrong with that. So, Larry, it's going to be sent to you. Would you suggest new beekeepers to use personally? I love horizontal hives. Um, I think they are a great fit for many beekeepers, particularly if you're old like me. And what's really great is they're so good on your back. You're standing up. You're never lifting uh, like supers that can weigh up to 80, 90 pounds. Uh, it's all one frame and it's easy to manage. So I highly recommend horizontal hives. Um, yeah, I've got two of them. I love them. And they make honey. They make plenty of honey. So yeah, I like them. So I'm gonna just wait for your questions now. So ask me a question. You got 6 long hives, Dave. All right. Aren't they nice on your back, David? Hey, David, are your hives are they insulated? Did you insulate them? Because I know you live in Pennsylvania, and I know Professor Fred Dunn. He lives in Pennsylvania too, and he likes insulating his hives. And I don't know whether his long hives are insulated, but he does like insulated hives. So why is our honey dark? The tallow honey is light. This honey that I just showed, that's dark, but I think that's got to do with the fact that it came out of that comb, that old comb. And I think the older the comb is, it will stain the color of the honey. That's why I like our honey. I like to get brand new comb. I put the foundation is brand with wax on it. The bees draw it out. It's all brand new. Because I think that the the age of comb affects the taste and color of the honey. I don't know if that's a fact or not, but that's just my personal feeling. So I'm a big believer in new comb for our honey, which is one reason our honey generally is light. Now it's not as light as some of the Western honey where it's almost like water, clear as water. Ours has that very typical golden hue to it, and man, to me, that's perfect. That's a perfect color. That honey, this honey right here, that is a little bit dark. That is dark, but I think this is due to the fact that it was old comb. That's a good question, Nasha. Is it expensive to start beekeeping? Well, any hobby that somebody chooses to do is expensive. So expensive is a relative term based on your own who you are, your source of income, how much. But I will say this: it is not an inexpensive hobby to get into. You can get into it as cheap as you want or as expensive as you want. Lots of ways of doing it, but uh, any hobby, it's expensive. So, David, your insulation is only on the top. You don't have any side or bottom insulation on yours. I know on the long hive that I built out here at the Abbey, I insulated everything. I insulated the sides, the bottom, the top, everything. I put everything in there. Unfortunately, the bees that I put in that hive, they didn't make it. So this springtime, I'll be starting up that hive again, and I'm interested to see the results of the insulation. My I did run a 2-inch air ventilation underneath it, and I kind of have regrets about doing that. I probably will wind up um, plugging that up because I think that bees really do better in a completely closed off environment. For them to be able to manipulate the airflow to make it go the way they want to without having to fight a influx of air in a certain way, especially if there's a lot of it. You're welcome, Nasha. Yeah. So I guess the R value of a two by's got to be somewhere around 3 or 4. Is that what the R value is? So that a two by is definitely better than a one by. That's for sure. I know that. I don't think a one by has even got an R rating, but I know two bys do have R ratings, and that's good. 2 by 12 size. That's very good, David. Any more questions? Langford or Lane for horizontal? Uh, you know, I if I was to do it again, I would do a Layens, but I like the depth of the ones that Vino Farms does. I like those really deep ones because I know how much bees like space. So again, if I was to make another Layens long hive, I would make it with. I think mine are my frames. In fact, here's one of the frames for mine. But I would like to have it a little bit wider as well as a little bit longer as well. I'd like to have another 4 inches on this one for sure, because man, bees can really do a lot with a closed off space like this. I thought that this was going to be big enough, but I wish I would have made it bigger. I really do. So I do like the layings. I do. Yeah, that that really is. I like that stuff too, Jimmy. I really do. There's nothing wrong with crystallized honey. There really isn't. I know that when I bring it to the gift shop, I prefer it to be in the crystal state, but eventually I will be having um, creamed honey over there for those that want that as well. 8 degrees in Coatbridge, Scotland. My goodness. Hey, what's the humidity there as well, Patrick? You got a great name, Patrick. I have a brother named Patrick too. His last name isn't McCauley though. It's Harchoff like mine. You see, like Lee, if you and Bob are here, y'all could be filling in this dead air space here. It's just me waiting for somebody to say something so I could say something else. Great talking to you, David. You take care of yourself. Merry Christmas too. Happy New Year too. I'll say that one too. I know you'll be watching the videos, David. You always do. Let's see. It's what time is it right now? 2:21. Let's hang out for about 10 more minutes and that ought to be enough. So if you got questions, you better ask. If I have to leave my hive for a month of April, how early would you split it in central? You know, it always splitting a hive. See you, Joey. Splitting a hive, I always use the criteria of the number of bees in the hive to whether it's going to be split or not. So that's what I would base my decision on when you go into your hive, regardless of so you in April here in Louisiana, I better be finished my splits by mid-April. I better be finished them, and so I try to get them done as early as I can. But again, you have to have the population, the bee population in there to make that work. So as long as you have the number of bees in the box to make a good split, do it. Otherwise, if you split your hive too early, you have the chance of really hurting your hive. The split may not take, and your other one is going to suffer because of the loss of the other bees. So you have to weigh the needs of the bees before making that decision of whether you're going to split them or not, at least in my opinion. Make sure you come up and shake my hand, Linda. I'm looking forward to meeting you as well. Muscadine jelly. Hey, are those the purple muscadine or the green muscadines, Lee? You're welcome, Jimmy. So Annette had asked about my address if somebody wants to reach out to me, and in also in the address, I'm going to thank you, Adeline. Thank you very much. Uh, that's very kind of you. I'm going to put the address here at the Abbey. If you split, how do you get a new queen? I use the splits. I use a double screen dividing board is my most favorite way, and whichever box, and I've got videos showing how I do that. Whichever box doesn't have the queen in it, as long as there was an egg in there that's young enough for the bees to make another queen, they will make another queen. So they just do it. That's what bees do, and so you split the hive in that way. I've got videos showing just how to do it, and all you have to do is go there and look on my channel saying how to make splits, and you'll see. I do it every year, so there are probably 8 or 9 videos out there. Purple ones. Those are the ones I like. Those green are too sweet for me. Last year when we were talking, someone asked if I was your wife. No. Hey, Alex. Where you from, Alex? Where are you? Thank you, Pappy, and I'm looking forward to seeing you up there in Louisville. God bless you too. So I'll put my address in the description here at the Abbey, and uh, that's also I'll also include there if you want to get some honey, buy some honey from here at the Abbey. I'll put that information there as well, and then you can send me if you want a label from your honey bottle label. Hey, Deborah. So Deborah came and visited her and her husband came and visited me at the Abbey just a few weeks back, and she's now back in Montana. Somebody said it was 18 degrees there. Is that what's the temperature right now, Deborah? I love when people come visit me here at the Abbey, and I strongly urge and recommend that if you do want to come see me at the Abbey, and man, I'd love to have you, that you contact me through my email, and I'll put that in the description as well. Before you come up here, that way I can pretty much make sure that I'll be here when you're coming here. Very often, I'm here, but I may be going somewhere else and have to go somewhere else. So if I know that you're coming in advance, I can plan my day around you coming here as well. Hey, Ron White. Yeah, Mona told me I had to wear this today. Captain Brian. Hey, I saw you tilted the wings when you flew over the other day. So I knew that was you. When you said you're flying over, I went outside and looked, and there I saw you. We are definitely going to visit the next time we go to Kentwood. We're just down the road from Kentwood. Well, I say down the road, we're probably about 40 minutes away. Should I use local bees or buy them? I would say local bees. I think you have a better chance of them surviving than uh, buying bees from out of state or wherever. It's in my opinion, it's best to get close to your home because those bees are somewhat familiar with the environment that they're in already. Yeah, the surprise might be on them if they just show up. Yeah. All right, we're running out of time, folks. Come on, got any more questions? All right, let's go ahead and shut it down. So again, I'll be at the North American Honeybee Expo in January. Um, and I really would love to meet as many of y'all as possible. Be sure I'm not going to Montana. That's too far and too cold. Uh, Make sure if you do go, find me. I don't think it's going to be that hard to find me. I won't be wearing a hat or anything, but you'll be able to find me because Good Time Charlie and Wreck-It Ralph will be trailing somewhere around me for sure. So we ought to attract a little bit of attention, I think, just with the three of us being there. And I thank everybody today for spending a little bit time with me. And if you need to reach out and contact me, I'll leave both my email address as well as um, my address here at the Abbey if you want to send me something. So that's all I got for you. Thanks for watching. Keep on watching, and I'll be making more. God bless. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of y'all. Bye, everybody. Thank you. And we're going off.